Hello everyone, and welcome back to the second part of my playthrough through the ages, beginner friendly, hopefully. So let's pick the game from where we left it at the end of the last video. So it's turn 3, I think, or 4. Yeah, it's turn 3. And now we are moving to turn 4. Neos decided to seed the card that was revealed was development of crafts. So each civilization just gets to ore. And all HA events are positive for everybody. Once again, this is important, once the HA deck is depleted and we start revealing cards that were seeded from the H1 deck, that people deliberately seeded, because the HA cards, they are randomly chosen at the start of the game. Nobody seeded them, but the H1 cards are cards that are actually seeded by the players. As you see, currently the red player, Nails, he seeded 2 cards, 2 H1 cards, and the yellow player, Magzapla, he seeded 1 card. And these H1 cards, they are usually beneficial for some of the players and detrimental to others. They are definitely not beneficial for everybody, with some exceptions. So he decided to finish his Colossus Wonder with his first action. So now he has +2 strength, he goes up to 4, so he's tied for the strongest with Magzapla. I don't know if I mentioned that, but ties are decided based on the order of play. And the player whose turn it is always considered the first player. For example, if it is Neo's turn, he is the first player, which means that he is stronger than Magzapla. However, during Magzapla's turn, if they both have 4 strength, then Magzapla will be the strongest player. So it's just a matter of not perspective, but a matter of whose turn is it, and how the next players are, what is the position of the next player. For example, during Neo's turn, I am second and Ramilt is fourth, which means that although our strength is equal, I'm stronger than Ramilt. However, during Magzapla's turn, Ramilt is second and I am fourth, because Magzapla is first, Ramilt is second, Neos is third, and I am fourth, which means that I'm weaker than Ramilt. This might be a bit confusing at first, but it's easy to get the grasp of it with some experience. So he finishes the Colossus, and then he plays Frugality, which means that he increases his population and then gets some food back. Since it's Frugality A, he gets 1 food back. Sorry about these noises. He increases his population again, second time. And with his final action, he uses Urban Growth A to build another, to put another worker on Philosophy. He built another lab, effectively. It costs 3, but because he used the Urban Growth, the cost is 1, or is deducted from the cost. That's what Urban Growth does. This is Urban Growth 1, it deducts 2 ore, but Urban Growths from the HA deducts only 1 ore. And that's his turn. I mean, it's pretty standard what he is doing. On my turn, first important thing is that I decided not to seed. And the reason for that is that I'm not among the strongest in terms of military strength, and I want to delay as much as possible the flipping of the deck. So the flipping of the deck, what I mean here is the depletion of HA deck and starting to reveal events from the seeded events from the seeded H1 events. So instead, I built the two remaining stages of the Library of Alexandria. So I get one extra science production and one culture production, but the science production is what matters at this stage. Then I took the breakthrough. And the reason I took the breakthrough was because I already have a warfare. Breakthrough, which means that typically the military technologies cost 5 or 4. So if I take the breakthrough, this means that I can develop warfare, then have 3 remaining science, and on the next turn, when I get 2 more from my natural science production, so after the end of this turn, I'll have 5 science, right? If I use the breakthrough to develop warfare, I will pay this 5 science, but then I will get 2 back. And then when I next turn, when I get 2 more from my production, or I might even build a lab, I don't know, I will have 4 or 5 science to develop something else. So if I really want to develop a technology like, for example, swordsman that we don't see on the row, but they cost 4, or let's say alchemy, I can do that. So I just didn't want to be stuck on science at this point. That's why I paid 2 civil actions, although it might seem a lot to pay 2 civil actions for a breakthrough, but I think it was worth it. And that was it. Here I got I got second copy of the Phalanx Tactic, so I really wanted to get my hands on a copy of Knights. Unfortunately, the first copy of Knights was already taken by Ramilt. In H1, we have a total of 3 Knights technologies. And so the first is taken, the second we see it on the row now, and I was hoping that nobody will take it. And I was definitely going to pay the necessary civil actions to take it. And I think until my turn, it couldn't cost more than 2. It would probably cost even 1. Magzapla, he at the start of his military, at the start of his turn, he used Alexander's special action. Alexander's special action, it's a political action, and it says you remove Alexander and you get 1 yellow token to your yellow bank. It might seem marginal, but for him here, this is the difference between being in the first or the second section of his yellow bank. It means that he's producing more food, and he is also able to get an idle worker just for 2 food. So that's a really powerful ability. He took the monarchy, which is interesting. I guess he gets a lot of science, kind of a lot of science from Stonehenge, but his science production is still at 1. So he needs to be careful what he uses the science for. Yeah, he builds the next stage of the Stonehenge, which gives him 2 science, so he has enough for monarchy now, if he wants to. He has 8, and he does it, which gives him basically monarchy compared to despotism is 1 more civil action and 1 more military action. That's why he still has 1 civil action left, because he used 4 for his turn so far. And with the final action, he elects Christopher Columbus. So Christopher Columbus, what it does, I mean, it's a very simple leader. During your politics phase, as a political action, you remove Columbus from play, and then you put a colony from your hand and colonize it. So you don't have to seed it, then fight for this colony, then spend military units. So if you have a really good colony that you need for your game plan, then Columbus can be very powerful. And yeah, he decided to adopt, for one military action, to adopt the fighting band tactic, which gives him +1 strength for every 2 warriors. He has 2 warriors, so he has 1 +1 strength +1 from the fighting band. So that he has 3 strength, being the second strongest currently. Mr. Ramiel, he decides to naturally build religion, to build H8 temple, which personally I don't think that's a very good idea until you see all the cards that are going to be revealed from the H8 deck, because as I mentioned, there is an event that lets you build an H8 temple for free. So he paid 3 resources here, and if this event gets revealed, it would have been a waste, in my opinion. Anyways, he takes Joan of Arc. I guess that's his plan to use, because Joan of Arc, she has a special ability. Your temples and government give you +1 strength for each of their happy faces. So basically, each happy face and H8 temples provide 1 happy face, is 1 extra strength. So he elects her, and thus I become the weakest, which is not a good place to be once the H1 events start getting revealed. He's hit by corruption because he couldn't use all the resources necessary to put enough blue tokens back. Yeah. So early in the game, your resources are limited, so it's not good to get this corruption. So each civilization scores 2 science. So we all get 2 science. Neos, he said it, and that got revealed. Then he took Nostradamus. Nostradamus solves the military issues in H1 usually, because he says that for the purpose of defending against aggressions or determining who is the weakest, you get +3 strength. He has another ability that is also good, but this is the more powerful one in my opinion. Also, when you see it, you get 3 extra culture, and you see the events that other players see, and that's, I think, very, very, very powerful as well. Culture at the start of the game is not that important. It is just how you win. So yeah, if you get the culture, it's stacking for sure, but the other abilities are much more powerful in my opinion. So what he does is, you see all the events that other players see, so you get to prepare for them. He elects Nostradamus. He doesn't need Hippocrates anymore. He got the 3 tokens that will provide him with effectively 3 extra population at the start of ages 2, 3, and 4. Takes the drama. For one civil action, why not? It's a source of culture. Later in the game, it works with multiple culturally leaders, like I don't know, like Shakespeare, like probably Marlene Dietrich. But yeah, for Ian Fleming. He takes the knights, which is not the best for me, because again, I won't have access to the cavalry military technology. So we were still not at not in the H1 deck. So here I took the alchemy. I developed it for 4. The reason I developed it for 4 was because, I mean, I could use the breakthrough for sure, but at this point, I didn't need the extra science for this turn, unless I want to develop warfare, and I decided not to develop warfare. And there is an event in H1 called Dark Ages. Let me just find it and show it to you. It says each civilization with more than 4 science loses half of the surplus round up. So I would be at 5 science, which means that I would lose only 1 at this point. And if I use the breakthrough, I would be at 6 science, which means that I would lose 2. So there was no reason to use the breakthrough here. I have enough science to use the breakthrough with warfare or any other technology next turn. And besides, another reason that had in mind was Ashoka. Thus, I have 3 different colors of cards in my hand, which means that now Ashoka provides me not only with 1 extra ore, but also 1 extra food. And I also increased my population, and then directly built an H1 lab for 6 to avoid corruption and get a really decent science production. So yeah, I definitely, the primary reason for not using the breakthrough was Ashoka here. I don't know why I started with Dark Ages. I had Dark Ages in mind, but definitely Ashoka was the more important factor to decide not to use the breakthrough. Magzapla seeds, and the event that was revealed was development of markets. On your turn, you get 2 food and 2 ore. You finish the Stonehenge. I wonder if yeah, he finished the Stonehenge, so he got the final 1 science from the last stage, and now he will get 1 culture every turn. It gives him 1 happy face. It's a decent wonder, Stonehenge. He develops irrigation and starts upgrading his HA farms into H1 farms for 2 ore, because yeah, it costs 2 ore to put a worker on HA farm and 4 ore to put worker on H4 farm. Recruited 1 more worker, and then he used 2 ore to upgrade the second farm, and he's exactly out of corruption. As you can see, his blue tokens are enough not to lose any. Oh, he even built warriors. Never mind. Yeah, he built 2 more warriors, which makes him the strongest. Ramilt, he seeds. Development of agriculture. Each civilization gets 2 food. And now you see that the future deck becomes the current deck. So he increased his population 2 times, I think. Yeah. So he paid a total of 6 food to increase his population. Developed the knights for 5 science. Builds another lab. And then builds knights. And since he has the medieval army, this gives him 2 more strength. Because he has 1 medieval army now. Things were looking pretty scary on the military front for me. Neos, I got a bit lucky here because it seems like Neos didn't have any events to see it. Since I don't see a reason why he wouldn't see it. With Nostradamus, he's at 7 strength for the purpose of not being the weakest or the second weakest. So yeah, it would have been beneficial for him to see it, especially on his turn. Increase his population, develop the knights before that, build a copy of knights, and then he plays medieval army from his hand. Again, there is already a medieval army, but in order to adopt the tactic from somebody else, you need to wait 1 turn before this tactic becomes common. Yeah, the medieval army is... Oh, one of the medieval armies is common. Never mind. But he needs 2 military actions to adopt the tactic of somebody else, and he had only 1 left. So he was lucky, I guess. Develops the drama for 3, and he builds 1 copy of... he puts 1 worker on drama, basically. On my turn, I decided to take the swordsman and build some military because it was obvious I wouldn't be able to use my phalanx tactic because I had no access to cavalry technology. So I built the swordsman. Yeah, I developed the swordsman and elected Barbarossa, which means that now I can build military units with my military actions. So I built 1 swordsman. Basically, I recruited a unit and built a swordsman, and I could do this with another one. Yeah. So I built a 2nd swordsman. And I upgraded 1 of the warriors into a swordsman. So currently I had 8 strength, and it was 7 from my military units. I have 3 swordsmen, 2 strength each. I have 1 warrior, 1 strength each, and also I have warfare that I developed this turn as well. Now when I don't have a shock, I don't need to keep cards in my hand. Took bread and circuses here with my last action because it was only for 1 civil action, and there is Pierre in H3, and Pierre is extremely strong with arenas, so I wanted to have to secure access to arena technologies, and the H1 arena technology is bread and circuses. I was a bit sad because Universitas, I'm addicted to science in this game. I really love producing a lot of science, and Universitas in that regard is a very strong wonder to me. But yeah, I couldn't afford to take it. I was really behind military, and I decided to use to take the sign that I got, to accept the gift that I got from fate, and start the when the H1 events start getting revealed to have enough strength, basically. And that was it. Max Zappa, he offered the open borders agreement to Neos. So both civilizations have one extra military action, and if one attacks the other, they have +2 strength. He took the iron, increased his population, built another H1 lab, so put a worker on philosophy. And he took rich land, which allows him to build or upgrade mines or farms, his rural buildings for 2 less. So the upgrade from bronze, which is 2, to iron, which is 5, costs only 1 instead of 3. Ramild, he decided to seed, which I'm not sure why he did that. He's among the 2 weakest, and there are events that punish you for that. I guess if he's not planning to become stronger, then that's okay, since he's still not the weakest, and there are even worse events for the person that is the weakest in H1. So he decided, fuck it. And Crusades got revealed, which, again, I think culture is not that important in this stage. So the strongest civilization gets fall culture, and the weakest loses fall culture. And Neos got the culture. Max Zapla lost the culture. Me and Ramild are unaffected by this event. Come on. It always happens like that when I pause a game during an event. Maybe it will start, like now. Okay. He started building the Himeji Castle, which is a very strong military wonder. If you're planning to incorporate a lot of military in your game, then Himeji Castle is good. It gives you 2 strength to culture, which is not irrelevant at this point because it's 2 culture per turn. And also it has a bit of a weird ability. When evaluating a war or aggression, you may choose one of your units, and then you add the strength to your the strength of this unit to your total strength temporarily. And if you're the attacker, you get 3 culture. If you're the defender, you get 3 extra strength. So with Himeji Castle, it's very hard for people to attack you with aggressions and wars. He also took alchemy, built the first stage of the Himeji Castle, and I think that's it for his turn. Neos not seeding again, so really being the strongest, he's supposed to seed, so he definitely didn't have any cards, any events to seed. He took the second copy of iron here, increased his population for 3, and that was it. Really? What did he do? Oh, he played the stockpile to gain 1 ore and 1 foot. So stockpile is an HA card, so he was probably afraid that if he doesn't play it, we will move, before his turn, we will move to H2, and he will have to discard all HA cards. That's why he decided to spend the civil action to play the stockpile. On my turn, I seeded it. I was the strongest player, Reign of Terror. The weakest civilization will lose 1 population. Max Zapla is the weakest. And 1 population in this case means if you have an idle worker, you can lose an idle worker. But in his case, he doesn't have an idle worker, so he has to destroy one of his units or one of his buildings. You have to lose a worker that is recruited. If you have idles, it's best, but he didn't. So that's bad for him. Sorry, I decided to take iron for two. I really wondered here if I should take iron because it was the end of H1. We are almost at the end of H1. And in H2, we have better mining technologies, so we have coal. The thing is, however, if I don't take iron and if the coal doesn't get revealed early in H2, my economy will suffer quite a bit. So I decided to take the iron, although it's quite expensive in terms of civil actions, but I thought it was still worth it. And then if by any chance early coal is revealed, then so be it. I will just take the coal and cry that I spent 2 civil actions here. But I wanted to have the insurance of having the iron in my hand. I developed blood and circuses, and I put the worker there, which gives me 2 happy faces. So I get I don't have any unhappy workers. I was worried about what's the name of this event? Rebellion. Each civilization immediately spends 2 civil actions without effect per discontent worker. And I really didn't want to spend half of my civil actions for nothing. Upgrade my last warrior to a swordsman, so now I'm definitely the strongest. And I adopted the fighting band tactic, which gives me 1 strength for each 2 infantry units. Since I have 4 infantry units, that's 2 strength on top. So I get a total of 12 strength. Let's see the breakdown of the strength. So I have 8 from the military units, 4 swordsmen each for 2 strength, that makes 8. I have 2 because I have 2 armies, 2 fighting band armies. Then I have 1 from warfare, and also this bread and circuses gives me 1 more strength, so I have 12 strength. Magzapla, he decided to disband a warrior, so that's he had to lose 1 population, so he lost 1 warrior. Then he increased his population for 3, increased again his population, and placed the legion tactic, which is again only infantry tactic, but it says that for each 3 infantry units you get 2 strength. Since he has 3 warriors, that's 2 strength. And still he is the weakest because he has 3 strength, 1 from each warrior and then 2 from the legion tactic. He took frugality and reserves. Reserves is usually one of the more contested yellow cards because it gives you the flexibility of getting some amount of the 2 basic resources, food or war or ore. So although you have to spend a civil action for that, but it is what it is. Ramiel on his turn decided to cede, again probably because he's not the weakest and he realizes that he can't get above Neos or me in terms of strength, so it's better just to face what's coming. Strategic territory, I was not willing to bid for that because the thing with colonies is that you always have to send at least 1 of your military units if you win the colony to colonize it. And I didn't want to send a military unit at this point. Yeah, because who won that? Neos won that. So he's used one warrior and then 2 colonization cards for a total strength of 3. So let's see how the bid went. Ramelt was willing to bid 3. Neos was willing to bid 4. I didn't bid, and Maxaplo was willing to bid 2. Neos won, so he sent one warrior, 2 colonization cards, and he has also +1 colonization because of his wonder. The Colossus gives him 1 colonization, so his colonization force was worth 4, basically 4 strength. So he colonized that, and this is one of the colonies that I'm not the biggest fan of. It gives you 3 cards immediately. If you need the card, sure, but I didn't need the cards. And the bonus that remains is just 2 strength. And I didn't need the strength as well because I was the strongest. But if I sent one of my military units, I would lose 2 strength, and then I would lose 1 strength more because I would break one of my armies. So I would be at 9, and I wanted to remain the strongest for the time being. What Ramil did was play Engineering Genius, which basically gives him a discount when building a Stage of a Wonder. In this case, discount for 2. He built the second stage. The second stage of the Himeji Castle. Actually, the Engineering Genius gives him a discount of 3. So he used only 2 ore to build the second stage of the Himeji Castle. He completed the wonder, and then he took irrigation to his second civil action. He increased his population and developed alchemy for 4. Neos on his turn offered a trade routes agreement to Ramild. One of them, Ramild can use 1 food as ore, and Neos can use 1 ore as food, which is what they. I mean, that's definitely not what Ramild needs, but it's what Neos needs. So, and it's still some slight bonus for Ramild, so he decided to accept it. Built another copy of Knights Neos here. He destroyed an HA mine, and I was like, what is this guy doing? And he built another copy of Warriors. Thus, he has 2 medieval armies tactics, and he is the strongest. But he is Nostradamus, so he knows what events are in the deck. He saw us seeding these events, which means that he really wants to be the strongest, and there is a reason for that. But still, destroying one of your mines looked a bit extreme to me. Developed iron, upgraded one of his mines. So effectively, he still has 3 production. And with his final action, he took Code of Laws. I love Code of Laws a lot because early in the game it gives you an extra civil action, which just allows you to do more stuff, and doing more stuff is great. So it's one of my favorite technologies in H1. And since I skew my game towards getting a lot of science, usually, yeah, I love Code of Laws. And that's the end of H1. The H2, now we are in H2. we all lose 2 yellow tokens. Neos gets 1 back because of Hippocrates, and then Neos draws 3 military cards because of the Colossus. That's ability of the Colossus. You draw 1 card at the start, three cards at the start of ages 2 and 3. And I think that's a good point to end this video, and we will get into H2 in the next video and see what have happened. See you.